Hello, adult DIYers. I am attempting a crafting video for you. I know I'm struggling really hard with being away from the library and being away from all of you and being able to interact with you. So I'm trying to come right into your home and teach you some crafts that you can do, hopefully with things that are around your house. So today we're going to do a really easy watercolor. I'm making a bookmark, but you can make absolutely whatever you want. You could make a daily affirmation poster, you could do whatever you like. So I'm just going to teach you the basic techniques of how to do it, and then you can be creative and share what you make on our Facebook page after you go through the tutorial. So let's get started. All right, so here is what you are going to need. You're going to need some paper towel, a sandwich bag of some sort, some water, some washable markers. I used Crayola because they seem to be the best, some Sharpies, and then some heavy duty paper. So the stuff I have here is watercolor paper, and it is the best, but you could probably use cardstock or, sketchbook paper. If you're using basic copy paper, it might not work as well, and you might want to use less water, but if that's all you've got, that's all you've got, and you can make it work. So I have this in a bookmark-like shape, and this is what I'll be using. I also have regular Sharpies if you we'll use these a little bit later. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick my colors. So it's extremely easy because you're just gonna take your plastic baggie that you have, and you're gonna choose your colors. So I am gonna do kind of a sunset look because I feel like that would maybe lift my spirits a little bit. So you're gonna take your markers and you're gonna draw directly on the baggie in whatever kind of pattern you like. So if I'm gonna do sunset, I'm gonna do a little mix of oranges and reds. I'm just gonna draw it right on here, kind of combine them a little bit. And we'll do some yellow. And then we'll go back through those colors again and add those on here. Now I'm using a bigger baggie because I have a bigger piece of paper, but you can use a smaller sandwich bag. You can pretty much do whatever you like. So now that I've got that under control, I'm gonna take my piece of paper and I'm gonna put my fingers in the water and I'm just gonna kind of dot it on this paper. So nothing crazy. I'm not drenching it. I don't want it to be completely drenched in water because then everything's just gonna blend everywhere. So I'm gonna take my colored baggie and I'm gonna flip it over so that the color's down, and I'm gonna put it on the bookmark. And I'm gonna move it around a little bit and spread that color and spread the water a little bit so I get kind of a little good coverage. And then when I remove it, voila! There is instant watercolor. So in the paper towel I just used to wipe the baggie off, so you can reuse it and do a different one. You can see all that extra color coming off. If you don't get all the color off of the bag, it's just gonna add more color to your next piece. But then I like to come in and dab parts of the paper that have extra color on it, so that the paper doesn't really warp and it adds to that watercolor look. So in the 3 seconds that took, there we go. We've got a beautiful watercolor made with Crayola markers and a plastic baggie. So now what you can do is you can come back through with this and you can take your markers that you had and you can do a little bit of embellishing if you like. So for instance, this looks like a sunset. So maybe I'll do over here a little grass, like it's a kind of background, almost like a little island coming out into the sunset. I'll draw over the side. little shadow kind of situation. And I have different size Sharpies here. You can use whatever you've got. You can use pretty much any dark color to color on these. You could probably do some pastel colors if you want, whatever you're comfortable with. And then you can draw a little palm tree coming out of that. Get the trunk, and we'll do some leaves. I don't really know what palm trees look like, but here we go. I'm gonna try. And then just color that in. And I'm sure you will all plan this out way better than I did, so that you have your plan in place before you just go at it like me. But you know, you never know. Some of you might like to improvise like I do. Give it a little kind of shaggy look. You can't really see it on the sides, but there you go. Kind of give it like it's the bark. So you can really do whatever you like here. This is just, and if you want to let it dry a little bit, it doesn't take long to dry because like I said, you're not saturating the paper with water. You are just kind of making sure it gets wet enough that you can spread the color around and it's not like big color splotches. I did that like a Christmas tree a little bit, and now I got to go back in there and mess it up a little bit more. And then we palm tree it. So really it's whatever you enjoy. If you want to do more of a wintry scene, you can do that. Although now we're moving into spring, and even though we're all in our homes, it's kind of nice to bring some spring in. You could do some flowers. And you don't have to do it silhouette style like me. I just felt like with the sun setting, I feel like it would be that way. Give a little extra palm right here. And I'm really just eyeballing it. So it looks like you got the palm tree and you got some little grass. You can make some coconuts if you want to make some coconuts. A little extra grass over here. Just got to play around with what you like. Kind of have that go in. And then over here on this part of it, you could write a saying like, life's a beach, you know, reading all day, whatever you want to write. If you've got good handwriting. Me personally, I don't have great handwriting, so for me, I would have to go back through and like use a stencil to get kind of good writing on that. But so that's the first one. I'll show you one more just to make sure you got the technique down, and then I want you to go out and do your own. So we've got a new blank piece of paper. And I'll do some different colors now. I'm gonna move these out of the way. I'll do some greens and purples and blues. Maybe I'll just do blues and purples. I don't have here as many colors as I probably would like. If you've got like a giant pack at home, that's probably gonna be better. Since I'm doing a totally different color palette, I'm just gonna use a different side of the bag. And I'm going to try to do some specific color moments here. So I'll do some of this. And any kind of design you do is going to work with the water you have on your bookmark. So if you're doing like a specific style, it's going to go where your water goes. So if you want to have specific splotches of color and on other places, just make sure you're placing your water like that, if that makes sense. So I bet these purples are going to show up looking pretty similar from what I can tell. But we'll do another one of these. And I'm just improvising, seeing what comes out. You may want to do tests and then you'll find, oh, I really like this way I did it. Maybe I'll do that again. Or maybe I'll try a different technique. So, you know, the most watercolor paper you have, the better. And you can get watercolor paper on Amazon if that's, if you're not going out at all. But like I said, you could probably use cardstock or construction paper if you got that around. It's usually pretty easy as long as you're not saturating it with water. Then you might run into some issues. But we'll try this for now. And you can always go add more color when you're done if you want some in a specific spot. Like one time I wanted to have a sun, very obvious sun, so I just left a spot open for yellow and then just went back and really pushed the yellow in there. So now I'm gonna sprinkle my water. And then the places with more color, I'm gonna do more water in that area so that it spreads a little bit more. And let's see what happens. Pushed around. Now you can see I didn't get enough water right there. And when I lifted it up, it kind of smushed it around. So what I can do is I can go put a little extra water in the places I want the color to come off. And then you're kind of like spooshing the water around, smooshing it and putting it through so that it kind of molds. Now I put too much water on this side, and you can tell because my little design went away, and I did not put enough water here, but I can go back through and it'll show up. So you can see my design didn't really work out as I had planned, but if you had like a straw, I bet you could blow some of this excess water in certain places that you'd want it to go. I don't have one with me right now, but that's something you can try. And even just with my finger, you can see that I'm pushing some color around and some water around, and it's saturating where other color was and making it look less drawn on and more watercolored on. There you go. And if I wanted a little purple over here, I could take just the one little corner that has some purple on it and drop that on. And that brings some purple over there. So you just want to make sure you're doing this in a place where you're not gonna, I mean, they're washable markers, but you're not gonna get water on yourself and ruin something, you know, all that good stuff. Here's my paper towel. So I'm just gonna take my paper towel and change it around so that I don't get my reds on there, and just blot out the excess water, and it kind of goes away. And if you get some purple on there and you don't mind spreading that around, you could probably do that a little bit, but it's not going to do too much because paper towels are pretty absorbent. So that was my attempt at doing a design. It didn't come out quite as snowflakey as I would have liked, but it did come out pretty. I like the different purples and blues and how they mix in different areas. So you could add writing to this one. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. I hit a little more water on here than I did on the other one, but that's the really simple technique. So this is great for you to do, and it's great for you to do with kids as well. It's really easy, and it's foolproof. So you're not gonna have a lot of issues where you get stuff everywhere. I'm so glad you could craft with me today. I can't wait to see your finished products. Here is one that I did. It's kind of fitting for the times that I'm going to use for my book tonight when I go to read. But I really had fun with you. I hope it was informative for you. Let me know what you think and show me what you make, and I will see you next week. Stay safe out there, everyone.